Well, would you look at that? We now have the US government shutting down crypto exchanges in countries that we technically don't really have much of anything to do with. Ukraine, US have now shut down 9 cryptocurrency exchanges with more on the way. This, as the US government, especially through Biden, has been more and more critical of cryptocurrency. If Biden gets 4 more years in office, we absolutely have to be, at least to some degree, worried about what the US government may do. Now, fortunately, right now, the branches of government are divided. Therefore, the government cannot do anything sweeping when it comes to crypto regulation. They can put little things in here and there. But what we really have to focus on is making sure that someone, it doesn't have to be a Republican, even though it probably will be, someone besides Joe Biden is put in office who actually appreciates cryptocurrency, understands its value, and is willing to work hard for the American people based off of those things. Because this, of course, is, of course, an absolute warning. Who knows what they're willing to do if they're willing to shut down random exchanges. And the excuse they're using here for shutting down these exchanges is that, quote-unquote, criminals were using them, even though criminals can use anything. What's actually happening here is the US government and Ukraine are shutting down the ability for Ukrainian citizens to resist against their own government if the government is trying to push measures against them, which in some ways I can understand. You know, there's a huge conflict going on there. They don't want people leaving. They want people to continue to stay there and fight. But at the same time, I also don't like how they're taking away people's access to churches in some cases. The government is cracking down more and becoming really totalitarian, which, I mean, what else do you do? I get it. It's like, it's a very hard situation to be in. They're between Iraq and Russia. So, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And by, I guess that actually sounds like I was saying the country of Iraq. I literally mean like a pun, between a rock and a hard place. I should have said between a Russia and a hard place. I think that makes a lot more sense. Between a Russia and a hard place. No, I don't think it's between Iraq. A completely different part of, actually it's somewhat near each other, but a completely different part of the world. Look at this. California now exodusing, which isn't even a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. From California. They're all leaving. And we can see the biggest states that are taking in people are the ones right next to them, which obviously makes sense. So we have Oregon, Texas, New Mexico. I would expect Colorado to actually have more people. It does not. It has less than expected. But you can see the numbers there, 60,000 people. I mean, everyone's leaving California, and there's a reason for that. Take a look at this. We have 13.3% top marginal tax for California. The tax rates in Cali are gargantuan. Compare that to pretty much any other state. New York's the second biggest at 10.9. Oregon has 9.9. Washington 7.7. The income state tax rates vary widely between all of these places. But if you look at Texas, Nevada, which is some of the main places people are moving, they want to escape this and go to somewhere where they don't have to give the government a lot more of their money to waste. What's California actually doing that benefits their citizens in exchange for all that additional money they're collecting? Pretty much nothing. That's why people are leaving. It's not a fair bargain anymore. And no one wants that. Why would you? Especially as the US government is now starting to crack down on exchanges when they get power hungry and they believe they can do whatever the heck they want. They're going to try to take away your freedom one by one until you have none left. And once you have none left, then good luck trying to resist. That's why we desperately need cryptocurrency as a way to put a check and balance on the government. Fortunately, there's a lot less they can do in the United States to ban crypto, and there's a lot more ways we have around it if they do, compared to other countries in the world, which is sad for those countries. Good for us if you live here. But if you are in one of those other countries, it doesn't change the fact that we should try to help you. We shouldn't leave you behind by any means. Is Dogecoin launching this month per Space TV? It's launching very soon. I will be covering that, of course. Dogecoin, we got to see it. We want to see Dogecoin massively taken off in the interim here, the short term. Tech entrepreneurs with computers. Speaking of which, you can see Elon Musk, obviously the coolest looking. I mean, Steve Jobs, actually also very cool looking. Would you want to hang out with Jeff Bezos? Probably not. I mean, maybe. Now you probably would, I guess. But you'd only be wanting to do that because he's a billionaire, probably. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Steve Jobs, he looks like he'd be fun to hang out with. Elon Musk, yep, he'll be fun to hang out with. Bill Gates, not so much. It's funny how you can tell based on their earlier pictures which one was going to be total destroyers of society's social fabric and which ones were going to actually be helpers of society's social fabric. And to some degree, Steve Jobs, we don't really know exactly how he would have been impacted by the current events of the world, but I can damn sure bet he would have been a lot better than the current representatives of Apple and the way they are acting right now. Someone said, Putin stole the battery of my truck. How dare you, Putin? What were you thinking? Shaking my head. Doubt it, says Christopher Olsen. Doubt what? Oh, Doge won? I mean, yeah, I get it. It's hard over and over and over again to be let down by the Doge One team. Now, Elon Musk will continue to let us up. He'll help us out. But Doge One team, they have unfortunately had quite a few setbacks, which is nothing in the world. I mean, I get it. Space, it's hard. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy. And so if you don't hit every target on time, I can understand it. We won't be too hard on that. But what we will be hard on is the FBI, because look at that. What are they doing here? Does that seem real to you? I don't know. Anything's possible, but I mean, it just seems silly. Like, what's the point of marching around like that? Like, what are you actually doing? Reclaim America. Okay, what's your message? You don't have a website. You're not doing interviews. You cover all your faces. American flag's upside down. I don't get it. Like, what's going on here? What are you protesting for? What do you want? And if the answer is you're just walking around doing nothing, that doesn't help. That just hurts your cause. That just makes it look like you're like trying to be militant. It makes it look like you're the bad guys for absolutely no gain. So why would anyone do that? I don't know. Maybe they just think it's fun. Maybe there's just a power trip. Maybe they're like, oh yeah, look at all of us walking together. We're so strong and powerful. I mean, I could see that. But that would more just be individuals wanting to feel powerful than it would be an organized group. Doesn't really make much sense to me. God saves. That's why they're leaving. Cali is sinking, says Geo. Love it. I mean, it is. Also, you got to worry about earthquakes to a higher level in California than you do just about anywhere else in the United States. That could be part of the reason why it's really not the main reason at all, but it could be part of it. I'm sure some people are leaving for that. I certainly would be more scared to live there just as a result of that, as we have also seen the new CEO of Twitter taking some pretty drastic measures so far. She just banned Dogecoin from being mentioned on Twitter. Not allowed to say the word Dogecoin. She banned Dogecoin payments. The new CEO of Twitter is banning Doge. Just imagine. No, I'm just kidding. The new CEO of Twitter actually, in contrary to the joke I just made, is supporting of Dogecoin, which is nice to see. Her name is Linda Yasanaro, and she is following multiple Dogecoin accounts, which includes the main Dogecoin account, following Dogecoin Designer, Doge Designer, multiple other accounts, also following a lot of political accounts, some on the right, some on the left. Some people are skeptical of this pick by Elon Musk, and I think that's fair. There's WEF, World Economic Forum ties. That should absolutely be nerve-wracking to anyone who doesn't want the WEF controlling Twitter, because they are very, 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 very socialist, unfortunately, and they do not want freedom of speech to be anywhere near social media. They have proven that over and over and over and over and over again. So that, of course, is scary, but having ties doesn't necessarily mean that the WEF will influence Twitter. I mean, it could, probably does, a little bit. But I don't think they'd influence a lot, hopefully. I mean, maybe I'm just being optimistic. What I am more optimistic, though, is that she's following a pretty wide range of people. She seems to lean more Republican based on her follows. If that's any indication, maybe it's not. Maybe she was just doing that to report on them. But she's following Kevin McCarthy, Republican leader. She's following Ron DeSantis. She's following Tucker Carlson. She's following Cat Turd. She's following a lot of people who are definitely very much on the right side of the aisle, which suggests that she would be bringing somewhat of a conservative bias to Twitter. You could argue it's a good thing. You could argue it's a bad thing. You could argue you want someone who's unbiased. But I think everyone on both sides seems to be mad. The Democrats are mad. Oh, look, she's following all the Republicans. Republicans are mad that she's part of the WEF, and she also pushed mandates and stuff like that pretty heavily. But then again, I mean, she pushed it in 2021 and 2020, which is significantly different than pushing mandates in 2023 or even 2022. Those are some massively different things. Not to say one's more excusable in every way, but at least in the way that they're completely different time periods when people had overall completely different thoughts as a majority. That's absolutely accurate. And so I don't think we could judge someone too much for what they said in the past versus now on an issue that was that confusing to so many people. The decline of the U.S. sovereignty, because no one really knew. I mean, no one knew what was actually best in a lot of cases. I mean, some people guessed right, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it was. You were, for the most part, just trying to guess. You can use data, you can use information, you can make an educated guess, but it's still just a guess. You can't know. What 9 exchanges are being seized? So I'll go ahead and go through what 9 exchanges are being seized. Visitors to 24x BTC, 100 BTC Pro, pridechange.com, 101crypto.com, uxbtc.com, trustexchange.org with a dash between trust and exchange, bitcoin24.exchange, paybtc.pro, and owl.gold now get a message stating that the domains have been seized by law enforcement. So the warning for us at least, because you're probably not using any of those exchanges, is more just to the idea that the US government seems more than happy to interfere in exchanges, suggesting that what you should do is move your crypto to a decentralized wallet fast. Doesn't have to be all of it, but if you have a lot of crypto, don't risk holding it on an exchange. That's never worth it. It's never smart. You don't want to have even a 1% chance that the US government's going to come in and seize all your booty. The US government's going to get their hands all over your booty, unfortunately. By booty, I'm of course referring to cryptocurrency, your big chest of booty. They're going to get their hands on your chest. They're going to get their hands on your booty. You don't want that to happen. So prevent the government from getting their hands on your chest and booty by making sure to take your crypto and put it on a decentralized exchange. Now, if I had a sponsor lined up for a decentralized exchange that you could move said crypto to, that would be a much smoother transition. But I don't yet. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't really trust any of them, so I don't want to. I mean, the decentralized ones, by the way, also don't make that much money, so they can't really hire sponsors. I could do a centralized one. I could tell you, go to Coinbase, use my link, which was way cooler in the bull market. It's less cool now, but I don't really feel like it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if there's an exchange that's really good that reaches out to me, I would consider it. But until then, I'm not going to. Started with Clinton, the decline of U.S. sovereignty. If she says WF, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, any WF ties are a huge red flag, and they can't be overlooked. I was trying to be a little more optimistic when I first heard of the news. Then as more and more information came out, the more skeptical I got. Then more information came out and I got less skeptical, then more, and just kept swinging back and forth to the point where I really don't know what she's going to be like as CEO. Is she going to try to hire people to fill quotas of wokeness? I don't know. It's possible. I would hope not. I don't like wokeness. I think it's bad. So I mean, I don't want anyone pushing wokeness throughout the company. But on the upside, maybe she will be able to use her strategic partnerships with advertisers to make Twitter a much more profitable place to post as a creator. Maybe she, because she's a little bit less, because she's a little bit less political in certain areas, maybe that will allow her to have better ties and connections. And I understand the vision of Elon Musk hiring her. I get it. But he does need to be extra careful watching her. And I believe he should make sure that there is a lot of communication between Linda and the community, what she's doing, what he's doing. There needs to be full communication. We cannot have a situation where there's things going on behind the scenes that Elon Musk doesn't know about that are either detrimental to free speech or detrimental to Twitter itself, which I would hope wouldn't be the case. Maybe it won't be. Maybe we're being too harsh on her. Maybe the WF ties are simply just her trying to move up in the world of business. Maybe it doesn't mean anything in terms of her influence or what she's going to do at Twitter. That's the optimistic way to look at it. You would hope, right? Then the other thing is maybe this woman is also not particularly woke when it comes to some of the things that she suggested in the past she was. Perhaps she was putting on a show or an act because of the industry she was in. She wanted to move up, which in some ways is a negative because, okay, well, we don't want someone who's willing to bow down just to move up in their career to something they don't believe in. But what if she changed her mind? What if she did believe in more then? What if she doesn't as much now? So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. If you want to be optimistic like me, we'll hope for the best. I think that's the conclusion there. If they can regulate all they want, but my Doge goes to Bitcoin levels, there we go. Yeah, that's a funny way to look at it. Yeah, he says if Dogecoin goes to Bitcoin levels and you make a ton of money from it, then bring on the regulation all you want. I don't care at that point. Cool, what? Because they're going to sell it? Is that what you mean? I'd still hope that they wouldn't regulate it too much. I mean, I want to use it. I don't just want to say, okay, cool, I made money, buy. No, I want to spend my Dogecoin to buy cool things, including a Tesla and other stuff, which would be my fourth Tesla. I right now own, just kidding. No, I don't. I actually have a Jeep, but I need one for where I live. But I want to buy a Cybertruck when it comes out. The only reason why I don't have a Tesla is because access to chargers where I live, combined with the terrain, not the best idea to have a sedan. I mean, a lot of people do it anyway, but it's not as smart. You can screw it up really easily if you make even the smallest mistake. You also can't off-road, which is kind of important, and something I definitely love to do. But that's where Cybertruck comes in. I'm definitely getting one. I will get a Cybertruck. Thoughts on RFK Jr., Matt? RFK Jr. is the only Democrat nomination candidate right now who actually has a chance to beat Biden, I think. I mean, maybe there's someone else I don't know about. I don't think Newsom would do it. I don't even want to talk about Newsom. Who cares? No one cares about him. Maybe RFK could do it. Maybe he can't. I don't know. We'll see. There's also a sleeper candidate that could potentially do it, which is the governor of New York. And if we do see someone replacing him, I think that's for the positive. I want to see not Joe Biden as the nomination in 2024 for Democrats. Anyone else, please, who likes crypto, please. Just trust in the Musk. There you go. I like what you think. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace. This is Final Stand, and I'll see you in the next video.